Doing more with less is a way of life within our police department. It, it helps us with our daily existence. It's how we get by. Being less fortunate than some of the agencies around us necessitates that we survive and do more with less every day. That includes being more of a generalist and less of a specialist in everything that we do. Our police officers are probably some of the most well-rounded police officers that I've met, and they are made that way because we don't have the resources for specialty positions or equipment, so they have to learn to get by on their own. Some of the things that we do is our patrol staff is responsible for a lot of their own follow-up, which makes them better investigators and makes them more creative in the way that they do the follow-up, because it's not shipped off to someone else whose job is always just follow-up. So sometimes the officers get together and figure out a better way to do that follow-up in a patrol environment, and they share it, and pretty soon everyone's doing it. Being aggressive and empowering our staff to seek out grants and to have the freedom to feel like they can write a grant proposal, even if they've never written one before, and bring it to our command staff and say, hey, this is a program that I'd like to do. I'd like to apply for this. Our command staff encourages that behavior from our line staff and encourages that free thinking and that empowerment. And that's important because if we have one person that's looking for grants, we might find a few. But if we have many people that have a personal interest in the program, we have a lot more eyes out there looking for the funds to do the things that we want to do. And obviously there's within policy confinements and things like that, but if we're fortunate in our geographic area that if we have someone that wants to be a DUI cop and he wants to write a DUI grant, then we have enough business in the DUI world to be able to do it. If we have someone that wants to work narcotics, if we have someone that wants to work canine, if we want someone that wants to work burglaries or gangs, we have enough of those problems that we encourage those guys to find creative solutions to that, think outside the box, look to alternative funding sources. Sometimes the daily challenges are as simple as an animal cruelty call. Recently, my department, we had an animal cruelty investigation. We don't have animal control services on a regular basis. It's one of the things that we lost in belt tightening. But we had an officer who conducted this investigation, and he ended up taking a couple animals. Well, that created a unique situation because we had to pay the veterinary bills. And then we had to pay to maintain those dogs once we got them healthy. And sometimes, you know, you have to go to the city manager or sometimes the city council and just ask for money. This is what we've done. Please help us through the general fund, or we've also turned to local civic groups like the Exchange Club, like Kiwanis, like Rotary, and those are people who get together for the purpose of making their community better, and the guys that are on the ground that are doing that every day are our police officers. So it goes hand in hand. We've worked with various civic groups. They provided us with a canine program. They provided us with monetary support for computer forensics, and even so far as reaching out to the faith-based organizations. We have a faith-based organization that takes care of all of our graffiti and conducts our war on graffiti. Somebody tags something, they show up and paint over it, and sometimes time and time and time again. I think that doing more with less makes you more resilient. I am completely a product of my own department. I've never worked anywhere else. Our environment within our department has been that way the entire time, and we've relied on these funding sources for more than a decade, and we'll continue to rely on them as long as we can seek them out and successfully obtain them. It makes me feel like I'm not alone in the world, like I'm not the only one out doing this every day. The people that I've met in this institute do the same things that my department and my command staff and my officers are doing every day, and it's a critical opportunity for a small agency like ours to network and develop resources across the country that we wouldn't ever have otherwise.